Good morning, Valerie Ling here. Hey, come on in. Hope you are having a fantastic start to your day. If you're watching this live, if you're watching it on the replay, so glad you could join me. We retreat so that we do not retreat. Coming off, finishing off the Masters of Leadership, I entered into my first interview to talk about my results yesterday, and I came out of it feeling really not great about the interview, just the answers that I gave. I think I was just feeling all round, vulnerable and exposed because I really haven't done the deep thinking to think what to do about the results. So, my first response was to call up, to message the leadership team in our practice and say, just note to self, put it on the management meeting for Valerie to think more clearly about doing interviews when she's, not feeling like she knows what she's doing, which, it's ridiculous. But at the time, I thought it was important enough to put it on the management meeting that I spend some time to think about taking up this podcast interview, right? So that's an example for me of a retreat because I'm feeling exposed and feeling anxious and immediately wanted to make some decision. But thankfully, there was a layer that was in place, which is called the management meeting, which happens once a quarter in our practice. So that would delay it, right? Now, I also last night then went for a walk because the interview came out sooner than I thought. It's been published, and I was quite nervous and quite anxious, so I actually went for a walk. Now, I made the mistake. I was quite ashamed and quite embarrassed to actually have made some phone calls that was just in a reactive state, and I made some decisions that weren't fantastic. And when I came back from my walk, I knew that that was not the best thing for me to have done. I should have just gone for a walk and came home, and I knew I needed to tell somebody because the first retreat I'm talking about is avoidance, when we pull back. And I knew that if I didn't tell somebody, that I would just wear this shame of the messages and the phone calls that I had made, and I would just live with this as a memory now forevermore. Came home, spoke to my husband and told him what I did and how I felt. And, in an instant, within 30 seconds, he said something to me that said, oh, that makes sense. No wonder I made that phone call. Okay, it wasn't all bad. Now, this morning, I'm heading into work. It feels like a huge void has left my world, the Masters, but I want to fill it up. Isn't that interesting? I feel like there's something missing. I just want to get busy. So I'm forcing myself to go out and actually get in the car and do something. Not before I caught an email that came in from someone who has subscribed to my mailing list. And downloaded my book from my website, valerieling.com, and then wrote an email. I've never met this person that said, you send far too many emails. It clogs my inbox. I've tried to unsubscribe and, it hasn't worked. And I thought my first reaction, I call them the flotsam reactions, was to go, oh my gosh, how rude. All you had to say was, I unsubscribed from your system and I'm still getting emails. Please unsubscribe me. And that's happened to me before. But it went one step further to make a judgment and an evaluation. I don't think it was meant to make me feel something and to say that, you send far too many emails. Now, in a blink of in a blink, though, a range of thoughts and feelings went through my head. One of which was, that's it, I'm done with social media and email marketing and business and doing all of this. But here's the thing, right? These are all retreat reactions. They're avoidance reactions. They're the things that are coming from feelings that I haven't yet processed and I'm not fully aware of that will make me shut up. If you've ever followed me, you'll know that part of my story is when I was in primary school in another country, I was actually literally told to shut up. Like, teachers would not teach me if I spoke. So the consequence of following these retreat reactions will be to shut up. Right? I've constantly fantasized about opening up a chocolate shop and just selling chocolates. And there's no social media because, everybody loves chocolates and you wouldn't really have to do marketing or advertising, would you? Not, but that's my fantasy. Now, the second retreat is really, really important. when we're aware of these reactions and these feelings, we actually need to retreat to create more buffer, more emotional awareness, and more emotional space to sort through those feelings. So many different layers of vulnerability and feeling exposed. And I could make a bunch of decisions, and I've literally deleted, I used to have a mailing list of maybe 2,000 people, and I culled that down to 600 people one day, just like that. I deleted, which was not wise. You can make these decisions that really just then cause you to retreat into a space which can be quite permanent and can be quite damaging if we don't take time to retreat. Every quarter, I have a booked in retreat, and I know my whole body and mind is agonizing to get over the finish line of this week before I head for my retreat and leave. But to me, it's so indicative of actually how necessary it is for us to retreat so that we don't retreat, right? To pull back and actually have the courage and the convictions come to the surface above those vulnerable thoughts, above those reactive thinkings, above the fear and the anxiety that sits solid in your not just from your tummy, but sits solid, in your heart and in your mind. That no, we keep going. So thankfully, I had the presence of mind because last night I knew that I was in the grip of something, so I silenced all notifications. I didn't check the stats on the interview, silenced my messages and everything, and had a really deep sleep. Woke up this morning for a slow start, had my breakfast. So I was ready to respond to that email, even though I wasn't ready to receive such an email. And you know what? I was able to actually see that this person had identified a glitch in my email system. And very quickly, amazement and amusement came to me to say that isn't it amazing how just something so small that someone can't see but is so fixable, won't come up because I've had this for years. And what a privilege it is actually to be able to fix this. And so I just wrote back and I said, thank you for your feedback. You've actually identified a glitch in my system. Nobody else ever has. It's now fixed. You will never get an email from me. Have a wonderful day. And you know what the net result is? I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm feeling proud of that reaction, even though I wasn't so proud of myself last night. So guys, retreat so that you don't retreat. I highly encourage you to come and join us for our April retreat, especially if you're a healthcare professional, to ensure that you keep doing the things that are important, but you take care of yourself first. Okay, take care.